And we thank you for your love and your kindness and your tender mercy. We thank you for your presence, oh God. We thank you for your love awakening us, oh God. We thank you.
Thank you, God.
For loving us, choosing us, oh God.
Thank you, Jesus.
God, as I attempt to do yours this morning, I ask that you hide me behind the cross. I let the people see Jesus only. Forgive me of my many sins, oh God. And make me right with you, oh God.
Yes.
God, open our hearts, open our minds to you, oh God, and what you have to say today.
Yes, Lord.
Speak to us clearly, oh God. We love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you. We pray this prayer in the name that is above all names. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. We all say,
Amen.
Amen. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to the book of Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 14. Ezekiel chapter 14, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. And it says, Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me, and sat before me, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up idols in their hearts, and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them? Should I be inquired of at all by them? You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. This morning, for the time allotted to us this morning, we're going to deal with the subject, vested. Vested. In every situation in your life, you are vested to a certain level, good or bad. So in your job, you're vested a certain amount. In your relationships, you're vested a certain amount. In your physical health, you're vested. In your emotional health, you're vested. In your mental growth, you're vested. Now, whether you're vested, invested, or divested is a different thing. Invested is that I'm pouring into the situation, that I'm engaged in the situation, and what's going on in the situation matters to me. Divested means that I'm pulling out, I'm running from, that I may be there, but I'm working on a way to get out of there. So from a financial standpoint, divested is I'm pulling money out my stocks. I'm pulling money out my 401k. Or if I'm totally divested, I'm bankrupt. And if we're going to be honest with the truth of the matter, we in some situations where the situation, we just quit on it and we're bankrupt in the situation. And so you're physically there, but emotionally you're not there. You're physically there, but you're mentally not there. In our text, we find the elders of Israel coming to talk to Ezekiel, and they're not just coming to have a casual conversation. They're coming to inquire of God. They have some questions for God, and God's response to Ezekiel about them is that they set up idols in their heart. And what that means basically is that I'm in relationship with God, I'm there physically, I haven't built a physical idol, but I've put something in my heart above God. Something in my heart is more important than my relationship with God. Something in my heart takes my mind off of Him when I should be focused on Him. So that's the first issue in the text. And so we're going to start right there. Is God, number one, in your heart? Are we vested in Christ in a way that nothing else comes before Him? That in you I move and have my being is not something we just say, but it's something that we live out. See, for us, same concept, different words. Participation versus performance.
Come on now.
Me and my brother were talking, and we will probably be coaching next year because there's some things in 7th grade volleyball that we don't like. So we probably gonna take the program over, and there will be some people that participate, but they won't be allowed to perform. So they'll be on the team and they'll get to wear a jersey, but their skill set, won't allow them to see the court. So they participate, but they're not performers. There are a lot of Christians who participate. Their name is on the roll. They come to church on Sunday, but they're not performers. They don't perform out Christianity in how they live. They don't perform out Christianity when life gets real. They don't perform out what God has asked us to do in their living. So they're participants, but not performers. So vested. How vested are you? How vested are these men in God? That, okay, I understand God enough to know that I need to make it look like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But in here, it don't matter much. In the next part of the text is what was interesting to me, and this is why it jumped out to me this week when I was reading. Because God didn't say that they planned their sins. God didn't say that they set up what they were going to do. God said that they put stumbling blocks of iniquity in their way. And I love reading and understanding more. The more you live, the closer you get to God, and the closer you get to understanding what he's saying. And what he's saying in this particular text is, we slip. Humanity is slip. You don't set up the actual sin. You set up the opportunity for sin. See, what we love to do, especially men, I'm just going to call this out. What we love to do is say, I never meant for that to happen. That was not my intent when I left. But in truth, it wasn't. But you set up opportunities for it. So you open some doors that, okay, it won't be me, quote unquote, initiating, but I'll put the opportunity out there. So I'm not thinking of the sin in particular, but I'm thinking of the opportunity to set up the sin. So God didn't say they were setting up sins. They set up stumbling blocks in front of their face. Layman's terms, so here we go. I'm not going to set up that I'm going to break a diet, but what I'm going to do is keep things in the house that's going to tempt me. So it's not my mindset or my intent to break the diet, but if I keep buying stuff that's tempting, or I keep allowing stuff to keep coming in the house, because see, what we'll do is say, okay, I ain't buying, but I ain't going to say nothing to her about buying. And so it's in there. So I haven't set up the sin, but I've allowed the stumbling block to be in front of me. And that's what we do. We don't set up the sin per se, but we create opportunities. And so you come out and you say, well, I never meant for that to happen, but you never meant for that not to happen. These dudes have created ways that, in their mind, I'm going to circumvent the law. And I had to say that's me. I'm going to find, okay, that's the rule. I'm going to find a back door around the rule. You're going to make an exception for me. So by the letter of the law, I'm not doing anything wrong, allegedly. And so that's their mindset. Okay, I done already marked God down to where he's not important, numero uno. But then now I'm going to set up ways that I can get what I want without technically sinning. They've divested in their relationship with God. Okay, I'm pulling out everything that's in there. And so can I set it up the way I want to? And so I question, when we look at it from our perspective, is am I divested or am I invested? In what areas am I pulling out? If you're going to be truthful, it's not one big thing. We like to make it all of my walk, but it's not all of your walk that gets you in trouble. It's that you have an area in your walk where you're good, and then you have this area over here where you don't feel like dealing with stuff. So again, I don't set up sins, but I set up opportunities for stuff to happen. So, example, see, let's get real, let's get honest. We didn't set up getting bad credit, but we set up opportunities to create bad credit. It wasn't my intent not to pay the bill, but I didn't pay the bill when the money first came in the account, and then all of a sudden something happened and now the bill is due and now the money. It wasn't my intent.
Right.
It wasn't my intent to max out the credit card. It wasn't my intent, but I created the opportunities that, see y'all, it wasn't my intent. We have to invest in our thinking in a way that I'm thinking about what's going to cause me trouble. See, when you get to a point of realness with yourself, you say, I don't need that in my life, so I'm going to stay away from that. I got my mentor. We were at a Bible study. Bible study was great. Bible study was over. As soon as the Bible study is over, it's the gentleman's house. They want to show a show. It's an adult theme show, mature audiences only. So there was some grown folk activity going on in the show. For him, he said, I can't handle viewing it because that little bit of viewing it will open a door for me that'll cause another problem later. So he exited the situation. Because not that that was going to be the problem, but it was going to create a problem.
Come on now.
We know ourselves well enough to think like that, but we don't think like that. See, he's invested in living right. Invested in how important is your relationship to you that you think beforehand. Again, we think of everything in a big picture, and so we ignore small details. It's the details that get us in trouble. It's the details they small, but they add up and they lead to bigger things. Let's be truthful. You ever argue with somebody and it was something small that started, but the argument is actually about the bigger issue, but it was a small detail that set you off? I know I done got yelled at as a child, and the argument was really about something bigger, but it started because I left a paper towel on the floor. Detail. Something small. You know, it started because you mopped the floor just before they got home, and the floor was still wet, so she don't want to count that you didn't clean the house. So it's something small, but it was a bigger issue, really. See, we ignore the small stuff. And if you think about things from a detailed perspective, you could avoid some of the situations you find yourself in.
Come on now.
So praise be to God, football is back. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. College football yesterday, NFL next Sunday. Okay, so I'm watching college football yesterday. I'm watching North Carolina versus Georgia. Details. There's a play called a screenplay. That is an excellent play if you run it right, you time it out right. However, details. In certain areas of the field, you should not run this play. First game of the season, offensive coordinator ain't thinking. He ran a screenplay from his own end zone. So, in the screenplay, what you have to do is you have to give up ground. So I'm already in my end zone and I give up ground, and the quarterback does what he's supposed to do. He throws the ball to the running back. Running back gets tackled in the end zone. Gave up 2 points and the lead. And those 2 points would eventually cost you the game because you couldn't get back in the game because the score was now offset. So instead of you being down by 6 or 7, you're down 9, which is 2 possessions, and they couldn't get. So long story short, it was a small detail, and if you paid attention to the detail, you wouldn't have lost the game. Small detail costs you bigger picture. You have to be thinking, watch this, situationally. And in order to be prepared for situational issues, you have to have thought about it beforehand. So are you invested enough to prepare? UCLA coach, former coach John Wood said, not preparing is preparing to fail. So by not thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, you've already set up for tomorrow to be unproductive. So y'all know I got a new job, and I love my new job. on my new job, the people who are successful are the ones who either get there real early or stay real late. Because you have an idea in your mind of what you want to do.
Right.
And then you get in the classroom, and what you thought was going to take an hour, they get done in 7 minutes.
Right.
And if you don't have a plan, now you have 46 minutes of time you got to deal with. And if you don't have structure, it's going to hit the fan real quick. So you have to prepare. And the ones who don't prepare are always crying.
Right.
The ones who don't prepare are like, I don't know how you deal with X, Y, and Z. Because you got to have a backup plan to the backup plan. Preparation. I'm dead serious when I tell you this. When I go to a job interview, it always impresses people. For whatever reason, it always comes up, do you have a pen? Yeah, got a pen. And then they always ask you, well, what happens if that pen don't work? Well, if that pen don't work, ask my family. I have at least 3 more in my pockets at all times. It's just how I am. Because I got a backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan. I don't like being caught without. Ain't nothing worse than when your tire go flat and the jack is home. I don't like being caught without. We try to prepare for stuff before it gets there because I'm invested in not doing stuff the hard way. That's it. This is, when you keep reading the text, what God says and what he continues to say is that they've got to this point because they don't really believe who I am. So the consequences of I'm going to do thus, thus, and so, and everything he said, and you will know that I am God. You read stanza, and he gets to the end, and you will know that I am God. So, what I'm taking from that is you can become invested enough to know who he is, or you can be divested enough that he can show you who he is. See, sometimes God has to come to us, amen, like through circumstances, and then all of a sudden we see stuff differently that people have been trying to tell you the whole time. I call it the stove is hot syndrome. When you keep saying the stove is hot, the little junior don't want to listen. A little junior burns his hand and says, mommy, the stove is hot. A lot of grown folks got the stove is hot syndrome. But you can tell us something to you blue in the face, and we don't believe you until we live it out. And then it's why did we have to go through that? The problem with Israel and the problem with us is their level of investment in their relationship with God was minimal at best. I got any bare minimum people in here other than me? That you gonna do the least it takes just to be able to say you did it. One of the reasons why Pastor didn't like cardio because cardio wasn't something that you could skim by on. You can't say, oh, I got on the bike for 5 minutes and I did cardio. It's a nice warm-up, but it's not cardio in and of itself. And there's no way to skate around that. There's no loophole. I've been trying to find it. There's no back door, you know. And so it's like, okay, you have to go through that. There is no bare minimum for that. I'm the kind of person, outside of work, I just want to do enough just to say I did it. Just to say, okay, satisfy you. With your walk, you can't be like that. You can't be bare minimum with your walk.
Come on now.
Because you want maximum results from his end, and you want to do bare minimum effort on your end. We were in Home Depot yesterday, me and my brother were in there, and I'm buying this stuff for work. And he's looking at me like, so you buy stuff every time you get paid? Yes, I do. Then what was the point of getting a raise? Well, you know, I wanted this opportunity, I wanted to do this. You know, I'm gonna do something different. But what I'm trying to get to him is, this ain't just about this job. I want to show that I have leadership capabilities, so when I go to be a leader, they will have seen it already. I can't start leading when I get the title.
Well, come on.
Come on now.
So I have to show initiative now. Now watch this. Initiative costs me money.
Yes.
This weekend costs $175 of my money. But I'm trying to show from Jump Street that I have bigger ideas than just being in this classroom. I want to run the district, I got to show you that all the way through. And watch this. In order to impress you, it's going to cost me something.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Come on.
And, pay the cost to be the boss. We don't want to. We want to be the boss without paying anything.
Come on now.
My current superintendent, the boss of all bosses in our district, when my sister started working there, dude came in, they wouldn't open up the pre-K because they didn't pass the inspection. He said, hold on. We don't know who he called, but a couple hours later he said, y'all will have afternoon class. Go ahead and call the parents and tell them to bring them. What does that show me? He has connections on a higher level of just, I know a couple people. He's connected well. In order for those connections to happen, he had to be in some, for me, uncomfortable situations. I don't like people like that. I love everybody, but I don't like hanging out and making relationships. But in order to be effective at his job, he had to make some relationships, do some things. Watch this. In that one action, this brother had paid his dues. And if I want the seat he sits in, I'm going to have to pay some dues. So now we're talking practical, spiritual, and practical. How successful do you really want to be? How invested in yourself are you? You see, the concept of investment, watch this, is not today. It ain't even tomorrow, but it's many tomorrows off. And our problem is, we want everything right now and tomorrow too. I had a buddy, talked to him yesterday, had a nice little meeting with him. He stayed in a one-bedroom apartment for as long as he did, while I thought he was crazy, but he was doing what he was supposed to do. So there's over $15,000 sitting in the savings account now. Because he was doing what he was supposed to do. Y'all worried about right now, I'm worried about my tomorrow. And so his tomorrow is going to be a little bit easier because he's going to have saved for what he wants to do. And so his rate's going to be a little bit better than mine because he put in the work for it. His mortgage ain't going to be as high as mine because he put in the work for it. So he's invested in not right now, but his future. And so the truth of the matter is, and we don't want to hear this, that if you're not invested, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you've divested in your future.
Come on.
Can I just make it? If you're not doing anything for tomorrow today, your tomorrow's bankrupt already.
Come on now. Come on now.
Your tomorrow's broken already, and you haven't even gotten there because you're not doing anything right now to make it better. So why do we stay in these cycles? Because I'm not doing anything to make it better. How come I've been here so long? Because I'm not doing anything to make it better.
Come on now.
We keep ending up back at this point, this conversation. Suffer now for success later. And for some reason, we not getting that. And the stuff that we call suffering ain't always suffering. It's just a learning process. But we don't like sitting still long enough to learn nothing. And they will know that I am God. I don't want to meet God and learn God that way. Because that way, if you read the chapter, it was like, y'all gonna deal with pestilence. Y'all gonna deal with this. And then I'm gonna leave a remnant of y'all. He's like, oh, here come the grace. No. A remnant of y'all will just feel the sword. And all because I was participating but not performing. So we gotta ask ourselves, which one are we? Where do we fall? If we're a team and God's the coach, can he trust you enough to put you in the game?
Come on.
That you know what? They've been preparing for this moment. They've done everything that they're supposed to, so when they get in there, the moment won't be too big for them. Again, football. Yesterday, a junior quarterback got his feelings hurt because there's this freshman on the team, and he, watch this, invested, he graduated early. So he started college, not this fall, but last January. So because he started early, you get to do what's called spring practice. And because you got spring practice, you got to go to school in the summer. So he's already academically a sophomore, but while collegiately is an athlete, he's a freshman because he's got his credits already. But that gave you experience. So when the junior wasn't doing so well yesterday, they put the freshman in there, and the freshman lit it up, and the junior ain't gonna get his job back no more. You might be older, you might technically have more experience, but if you ain't been doing what you're supposed to do, there's somebody behind you that wants your, oh y'all.
Come on now.
See, when Israel messed up, there was somebody behind them that, look, I'll serve them. There were people coming in. We want to be a part of y'all because we want to serve your God. And Israel didn't get how great their God was. So God said, I'll take my faith. How you think we got here?
Come on.
Because they wasn't doing it. So you know what? There's these Gentiles. And they want to know who I am. I'll show them.
Come on now.
There's somebody that wants your spot.
Come on now.
And if you ain't doing the work,
Yeah, come on.
we have to be doing what we're supposed to be doing so when your opportunity comes. Well, I said Bible study, be ye also ready. We talked about it. Because you don't know when your moment's going to come. So now, here we go. When we go to God this week, break it down. Make it smaller than this. Am I invested in my Christian walk? No. But that's how we skate past stuff. And we ain't trying to skate past nothing. God, am I invested in my finances? Am I invested in my health? Am I invested in my family? Am I invested in my friendships? Am I invested in my relationships? And whatever else you can think of that you know you need to do better in. I was talking to the same friend yesterday, and we were talking about how fast these kids are growing up. And I said, one of the things I have to do better in is it's going too fast for me. So I have to invest more before these little jokers is gone. Because one of them be grown and Jesus helped me 4 years. 4 years. Almost 1,400 days. Yes, your father is counting. Jesus. And so I don't want to look back and say I should have. Or I missed that opportunity. So yes, I'm busy. And yes, there's a lot going on. But I got to move some stuff around to invest more in my children. Because once the time is gone, watch this, it's gone.
That's right.
So I have in my mind a certain way I want you to look back at your childhood.
Right.
Now that ain't necessarily how they perceived it, but I want you to be able to say, I did the things I thought necessary to give you that. I got to double down on that now because it's going too fast.
Yes.
So watch this. I can't just talk about it. I have to make a plan and execute the plan. And watch this. Some of the investments, y'all, is uncomfortable. Ooh, y'all got quiet when I said that. Investment. There's this movie she want to go see about this dragon. and it's got fur, and that ain't my thing. But I'm gonna go to spend time with my child.
Amen.
And she can say, you know what? He loved me enough that he took me to something he didn't even want to go to. Because that's how much he cared about me. Investing. Every investment you gonna make is not gonna be fun in the moment. Watch this. When you start saving money, it don't grow as fast as you want to. You start losing weight, it don't go as fast as you want to. You start paying stuff off on your credit, that score don't go up as fast as it went down. It takes some time and some commitment. And we get caught up in the process and we quit and go right back where we started. Watch this. Part of your investing and growing better is yelling at yourself. And see, if we're going to be honest, self have conversations with self, telling self what self going to do. And one of the selves will not. That's just life. You can admit that you talk to yourself, but you talk to yourself, and which self wins. And depending on the day, in order to be motivated sometimes, you just got to grab self and yell at self and say, we're going to do this despite of what we feel like.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm getting to the point now that bump reasons because I want to. Because see, if I use reason, I can reason myself the other way. I told you I like to argue, so I can play that game all day. No, because I want to. Watch this, because it's necessary.
Yes.
You ever had them days where you wake up and you got to tell yourself, we going to work because we need to go to work. And if you say, come on now, you got to coach yourself to get up out the bed.
That's right.
And then when you get up out the bed, your first thought is, I ought to lay back down. See, that's real, man. You got to coach you got to coach yourself through the shower. And then you start rationalizing, well, ain't nothing to iron. You got to coach yourself through the whole process. Be in the car, I can still turn around. How much do you want? How much do you want to be better than you are right now? Because see, your vision for yourself, whatever your specific vision is that when I look back at me last year, I'm better today.
Amen.
And 2 years from now, I'm better than I was 2 years ago. And for too many of us, we in the same place, doing the same stuff, still not getting results. And watch this, we comfortable. We got to stop being comfortable in brokenness. If something is broke, let's fix it. There's a situation and there's a child, and the child went to the hospital, and they went to the hospital because somebody was smart enough this time to say, okay, this one is serious. And so when the child gets to the hospital, the child has a lacerated liver. So they got to deal with that. But when you're comfortable in brokenness, the reason why this was even a conversation, watch this, is because the child had a broken femur before. And the child had a broken rib before. They find this out in the x-rays so we got comfortable to the point that this happens so often, they'll be all right. You can get comfortable in your messed up dysfunctionality situation.
Come on now.
And you just stay there wondering, okay, one day this is going to change. Not if you don't do something different.
Come on. All right.
Okay. I'm going to deal with this and I'm going to leave you alone. Invested versus divested. In every situation that we get in, when we first get in it, we gung-ho, hyper, ready to go and everything. Watch this. You know when that leaves. And when it starts to dissipate, you have to address it then. One of the things that I've learned over time and then I see repeatedly, specifically right now, I'm going to talk in relationships, is both parties know when it's falling apart. And then we sit there and we don't say nothing. Can we be honest and know that you can feel tension? Tension becomes tangible in the home. So when you beefing and it ain't great, you feel it, but don't nobody want to say nothing. I said, y'all want to be quiet now. Got to be 100% real. Me and First Lady wasn't getting along. When I go down to the basement, you feel it. It was tangible. It was thick. Because I'd say something and she'd get an attitude. She'd say something like, so then you just don't talk. And you're sitting there looking at each other. And in your mind, you say, I can't wait till the joke goes upstairs. Who gonna be the first? Finally, I can't wait. See, I'm honest. Every day ain't been a sunny day. There's been some rainy ones. And you know how the rainy ones got fixed? You address it. And watch this. I didn't put in too much to just throw this away willy-nilly like it don't mean. Come on now.
Come on now.
See, we get to the point where we just start throwing stuff away like it don't matter. And then not dealing with it. You help him, Jesus. I didn't hear you, but I know you, so I know you. Lord have mercy. In Maryland, I'll just tell the story so everybody's in. In Maryland, he knew a guy, and the guy was in a relationship for like 7 years, and he just threw it away. And so he asked him, how do you just throw away 7 years? I can get that back. I can get that back. That's why he's laughing. Because we throw stuff away, I can get that back. And people, look, I know 40-year-olds now, I can get that back. That's how we process it.
Oh, have mercy.
Which means you don't value nothing you and that person built.
Right.
You don't value that time, those emotions, and whatever came from that. I can get that back. We got to start addressing stuff when we notice it. Stop waiting for other people to do it for us. Well, if they ain't going to say nothing, I ain't going to say nothing. If we get to the point, if we get to the point where somebody come home and be like, why they here? Okay, we need to have a conversation. We just need to have a conversation. Because if you don't deal with it, ain't no way for that to go with south. But again, address it in every area. Watch. You know and can tell a difference when all of a sudden, I don't have as much money as I'm used to having. Why are you going to wait till this phone start ringing with them unknown phone numbers before you address what's financially going on?
Come on now.
And then we never answer the phone when they say unknown. And then when they come get their stuff, you like, well, I don't know why. You ain't changed nothing, you ain't paid nothing, and now you frustrated over the situation. Watch this, make a plan. Follow through. Last week I told y'all, somebody called my job. First thing, Friday morning, what do? We called them, here's your money. I can't just make the plan, I gotta execute. And then not make excuses when I have the opportunity to execute, because the first thing your mind will say is you can take that money and do something else with it. Gotta talk to yourself. How vested are you? And when you find out that you're not, what are you going to do to fix it? He tells Israel that you guys have a proverb that, God waits. He said that proverb won't be true no more because I'm not holding anything back. So this won't be from the future. I'm frustrated and it's going to happen right now. God is patient, loving, and kind, but at a point, then you can play around so much. And see, we play around a lot. Don't push God to be like, okay, I'm not withholding anything anymore. That you're going to feel the consequence, the full brunt of your actions. Because no matter what you're going through, I hate to break this to you, but this is the honest to God truth. You ain't felt the full brunt of what you did. It was so bad. It still ain't the full brunt of what you did. Thank God for grace and mercy. So we have to take account of where we are, project where we want to be, and then invest in getting there. Amen?
Amen.
God bless you.